You have likely lived this scenario. From the outside, to neighbors and coworkers, the image is one of perfection. Clothes are neat, the car is clean, and there's the smile of someone who has their life under control. But when the front door closes, the reality is a visceral shock you carry in secret. Piles of old papers that can never be touched, boxes of future projects that have been gathering dust for a decade, clothes that don't fit, cables that connect to nothing, receipts from 1998, and, most disturbingly, the explosive, disproportionate, almost demonic reaction if you dare suggest throwing something away or simply organizing the space. You ask yourself, how can someone so obsessed with their own image live surrounded by so much junk? Or perhaps they don't hoard junk, but untouchable collections that occupy all the vital space in the house, turning your living room into a sanctuary for their ego, where you are not permitted to exist comfortably. For a long time, you thought it was just sloppiness. Or maybe you thought they were just sentimental. You tried to organize, clean, create systems, only to be accused of messing with my things, of being controlling, or of having thrown away something extremely valuable, which was actually a rusty piece of metal. This cognitive dissonance between the chaos of the environment and the rigidity of their behavior leaves you exhausted. You feel like you are being, quite literally, pushed out of your own home, what you are. Witnessing is not laziness. It's not mess. There is a deep, dark, and rarely discussed connection between narcissistic personality disorder and hoarding. What is scattered around the house are not just objects. They are fragments of a broken mind that is desperately trying to maintain control of reality. Today, we are going to decode what this chaos truly means and why. No matter how much you clean, the emotional dirt always returns. My name is Lauren Mitchell. My purpose with this channel is to show you that the problem was never you, and more importantly, that you are not alone. We are going to validate what happens within those four walls, because the loneliness of living with a narcissistic hoarder is suffocating. Unlike a classic compulsive hoarder, who often feels shame about the mess and hides due to anxiety, the narcissist often feels entitled to that mess. The house is not a shared home. It is the storage unit of their mind. You may notice that common areas are progressively colonized. The dining table stops being a place for meals and becomes their static office. The sofa is occupied by projects. The garage is impassable. If you try to claim a space, say, a drawer, or a shelf for your things, you encounter resistance. It's as if your physical presence is an affront. And then there is the terror of the, where is that receipt? If you organize the house, and they can't find something, which they probably lost themselves months ago, the blame is immediately yours. You messed with my things. You always throw everything away. You don't respect my space. This accusation is projective and cruel. You start walking on eggshells, afraid to clean, afraid to organize, living in a visually polluted environment that drains your mental energy. Visual. Clutter generates cortisol, generates constant stress. You feel like an unwelcome guest, an intruder navigating a minefield of junk. The most peculiar thing is the duality. They may demand that you be impeccable, that your things don't get in the way, or that the house be presentable for visitors, in which case the mess is hidden in a panic room or overflowing closets. But their rules for themselves are one of total exemption. They can have the chaos. You must have servile order. Why does this happen? Why do they guard that broken 15-year-old computer with the same ferocity they would protect a child? Because to the narcissist, that object is not junk. It's an anchor. To understand the link between narcissism and hoarding, we need to dive into the first psychological pillar: objects as an extension of the false self and magical thinking. The narcissist suffers from a chronic inner void. There is no solid self, only a fragile construct that needs to be constantly fed. Physical objects serve as prosthetics for this weak personality. Every kept item carries a narrative of grandiosity or potential. That rusty workout equipment that was never used? They don't see rust. They see the proof that they are a potential athlete. Throwing away the equipment would be admitting they will never use it, which would be admitting a flaw. And the narcissist does not admit flaws. Those old magazines or books they never read, they are proof of their superior intellect. The old car parts, proof of their genius mechanical skill that one day will be demonstrated. They operate under magical thinking. As long as I have the object, I have the possibility. If I have the possibility, I am special. Discarding something is, for the narcissistic psyche, a form of amputation. It's as if you were asking them to tear off a piece of their own skin. When you throw away that box of useless cables, you are not cleaning the house. You are attacking their fantasy of omnipotence. You are saying, "You won't fix this. This has no value. This is junk." And by extension, they hear, "You have no value. You are junk." The rage that follows is not about the cable. It is narcissistic rage triggered by the shame of having their future supply questioned. The objects are totems that protect the narcissist from facing their own mediocrity and the passage of time. They hoard the past, so they don't have to deal with the emptiness of the present. The second pillar is more aggressive and concerns the power dynamic between you. Hoarding as a tool for territorial control. Narcissism is, in essence, a pathology of boundary invasion. They don't know where they end and where you begin. In the domestic environment, this translates physically. Space is power. Whoever occupies more space dominates the environment. By spreading their things throughout all the rooms, the narcissist is marking territory, like an animal. They are saying non-verbally, "This house is mine. You only live here because I allow it." This tactic has a devastating side effect for the victim, the suffocation of identity. The less physical space you have for your belongings, your hobbies, and your organization, the less psychological space you have to be yourself. You shrink. You become smaller. You live, surrounded by their choices, their junk, their aesthetic, or lack thereof. Furthermore, the mess serves as a physical barrier against intimacy. It is difficult to have a deep emotional connection or a healthy sex life in a room cluttered with boxes and papers. It is impossible to host friends and have a normal social life if the living room looks like a warehouse. This isolates you. The chaos of the house becomes a shameful secret that prevents you from bringing people into your world. This perfectly serves the narcissist's purpose, to keep you isolated and focused exclusively on them and their needs. The mess is a fortress wall. While you are busy trying to navigate the maze of things or cleaning up their mess, you are not focused on your own dreams, your career, or on recognizing the emotional abuse you are suffering. It is passive sabotage. They create the problem, the chaos, refuse to solve it, prevent you from solving it, and then watch you wear yourself out trying to live with it. It is a form of slow, silent psychological torture. We now come to the deepest and most painful point of this analysis, the third pillar, reification. In the world of the narcissist, a macabre inversion of values occurs. People are treated as objects, and objects are treated with the reverence that should be given to people. Think about how they treat you when you fail or don't serve their purpose, the supply. They discard you, ignore you, punish you with silence. You are disposable as soon as you stop being useful or functional to their ego. Now, look at how they treat that broken watch or that record collection. They take care of it. They protect it. They can't get rid of it. Why does this happen? Because objects are the perfect source of safe narcissistic supply. An object will never challenge them. A pile of newspapers will never ask them to take responsibility for their mistakes. A collection of empty bottles will never tell them they are being abusive. The object is static, controllable, and mute. It reflects only what the narcissist projects onto it. You, on the other hand, are unpredictable. You have feelings, demands, opinions, and a voice. You are a threat to their control. Therefore, they develop an emotional attachment to objects because they are safe, while maintaining a cold distance from you. This inversion explains why they can have a fit of rage if you break a cheap glass, but show no empathy if you are crying from pain or sadness. The glass was their possession. Your pain is an inconvenience to them. Hoarding is the external reflection of their inability to process real human emotions. They fill the space with inert matter because they cannot fill it with affection, love, or genuine connection. The full house is the monument to their empty soul. As you look at the piles of junk, the impassable garage, and the bulging closets, I want you to see beyond the mess. It's not about organization. It's not about lack of time. What you see is the physical manifestation of a mind that needs to control everything so as not to feel anything. That mess is their shield, and you cannot clean someone else's internal mess. You spent years trying to organize the house in the hope that, if the environment became calm, they would too. You believed that if you found the right place for every object, peace would reign. But now you understand that the disorder is necessary for them. It is the barrier, the validation, and the control. Liberation begins when you stop fighting the objects and realize what they represent. You are not fighting against paper and plastic. You are fighting against a pathology that prioritizes dead things over living beings. Stop internalizing the blame for the disorganization that is not yours. Stop feeling like you are a failure because you cannot maintain a magazine-ready house while living with a professional saboteur. That chaos does not define you. It defines what is left of their humanity. The most important step now is to start reclaiming your space. Not necessarily the physical, if that is dangerous or impossible at the moment, but the mental. Understand that their need to hoard is a black hole that will never be filled, no matter how much you sacrifice. Look at the mess and see the truth. There is the proof that there is no space for you in the life of someone who is already full of themselves and their inanimate fantasies. That clarity hurts, but it is what removes you from the position of janitor for someone else's chaos and puts you back in control of your own reality. In the description of this video, you will find a link with the only material you need to understand and reframe what you have lived through. Feel free to leave your story, your vent, or even a suggestion for the next video topic in the comments below. Click on the suggested video on the screen and continue with me. Remember, you are light. Never forget to shine.